Hello, beautiful people. I'm so glad you guys came and decided to share this time with me. Meow. I'm actually allergic to cats, so I thought I would be one today. Anyways, hi, everybody. And, Halloween is coming up, so I thought we should take some time. I mean, Halloween is going to be in 2 days. And I thought, for those of us that deal with Halloween, maybe we should talk about it. I need to talk about it. I thought maybe you'd want to talk about it with me. So I just want to check the chat. Hi, Colleen. Colleen, I hope you're feeling good. And hi, Lisa. Of course, hello, Todd. Oh, wow. Colleen is saving her energy for tonight's Cooking with Chef Bravo. Lucky lady. Hi, plant-powered peddler Janet. Hello, Nan. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. Yeah. And oh, hi, Annette. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. So I really want to talk about so many things, and I really want to hear from you too. Halloween, if you see me looking down, I have my notes here. I do it every time, but I always like to let you know it's not that I am not paying attention. I just want to make sure that I'm on task. So, I wanted to share how we celebrate or deal with or handle Halloween, and kind of share about that. I'd also like to do a little cooking at the end too. So let's see. So, oh, hey, hi, Karen. Good to see you. So what I want to ask you guys is, have you had any experiences or anything that you want to share that talks about how you've handled Halloween when you're not necessarily, because I don't know, everybody's at a different place. Like, how do you handle candy? And not everybody has trick-or-treaters. Not everybody has, younger kids or grandkids or family that live close by or have them. And some people, it doesn't, affect them in the same way, right? You're not surrounded by Halloween parties and that kind of thing, or maybe you are at work. There's all different variations of what we're exposed to. But even if you don't have anything going on, we're still bombarded during this time. And I'm going to share, some of that in a little bit, of just some different things, different places that I have been just in the month of October leading up to it. It's just, oh my gosh, so much candy. So I just want to check the chat. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hello, Jackie. So good to see you. Wow, all the way over there. That's so far from where we are in Arizona. And so anyways, the first thing I want to share with you is my thinking about Halloween. And I have a lot of thoughts. And I feel like it's practice. It's practice because it's going to then, after this, tumble into, some of the other holidays that we have in the United States, which is Thanksgiving. And then, you go into other holidays, winter holidays, and people celebrate all different holidays, Christmas and whatever, Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, or, I don't know any other ones, but there are so many holidays that are celebrated in the month of December, and everything seems to be around food, which is wonderful, right? That's part of what we do. But when you're trying to, or you are living a whole food, plant exclusive, sos-free, gluten-free lifestyle, or you're trying to maneuver and improve your health or lose weight or whatever, it can feel like somebody's trying to not make it easy for you. And so I just want to say, no matter what's going on here, look at all of this in front of me that I'm going to talk about. I still take care of myself first. I really do. This is part of my lunch. This is my salad. I'm still doing Dr. Goldner's protocol, and I will share about that and soon again. But I just want to show you that taking care of yourself is really important. And so yes. So what do you guys think about the idea of Halloween being practice? I'm really curious to hear if anyone has any thoughts about it, or what do you think about that if you haven't thought about it being practice for what may be coming up. So yes, we started to talk about candy and the temptation that candy can provide. And whether you're going to school functions with your kids or your grandkids, like I said, work or whatever, you still, even if you have none of that, you still even have errands. Most of us run errands. I know there's a lot online, but we recently went to a bank. We had to go to a bank in person. I know, right? And they had bowls of lollipops out, and they were giving out water bottles. We had an appointment there, so it wasn't just going in and seeing the teller, but we needed to talk to a banker. And there was a gentleman that came up to me and said, "Can I offer you anything?" And he kind of pointed to the lollipops and asked if I wanted a water. And so I said to him, "No, thank you," because I had a water. But I did say, "Why don't you guys offer any like fresh fruit, instead of the candy?" And this isn't like a little mom and pop. This is a big, well-known institution, bank. And he said, "Oh no, corporate is not going to do that because that's more money. The lollipops are less expensive and they don't go bad." So I was like, right, of course. Okay. So some of the other places that they always have candy, but I feel like it's intensified is where places that we go to, right? The pet store, or even the groomers, for goodness sake. Gas stations, but they're selling it, of course. Doctors' offices, grocery stores. I mean, Costco, you walk in around this time and there are these gigantic bags of candy and people are loading up. And another one that's really funny, and it makes sense, I guess, is the dentist office, because if you don't have bad teeth, well, then they're not going to make any money. So I thought that was interesting. And I'd love to hear, are there any other places that you've gone into, hardware stores, or, where you have felt like you've seen a higher amount of candy? Okay. Okay, Lisa, hi. She says, "I did a hike with a group on Saturday and someone brought Halloween candy to share." No! Oh my goodness. Yeah, so even there you are hiking in the beautiful natural area, and it's at you. Wow. And then Nan says, "All the sugar and chemicals yeah, right, keep them. No kidding." So, I've got a display here of some fun stuff. I don't know how to make charcuterie boards, but this is my attempt, and happy to show you what I did. But taking food and having fun with it in the process, good food, real food that is whole food. It's fun. And when you're if you are with your family, like, we get together sometimes ahead of time, we carve pumpkins or we paint pumpkins or whatever, with grandkids or family. These are things that I would either have out for them. And we have hummus, we have guacamole. I have these little things right here. This is jicama, just sliced up fun. The carrots and are ghosts and pumpkins. And, we also have ghost cucumbers. And then these are carved, and these are bell peppers with celery. And so none of that is harmful, right? And kids have fun. And if you make it fun, I think that's the thing. And what's interesting, because I have this bowl of traditional trick-or-treat candy right here, is the colors. I almost feel like maybe when they were designing this stuff, they were trying to design a copy of the colors. the rainbow that's natural that we can eat. So I don't know. Am I making sense to anyone? Um, so talking about, I wanted to talk about sharing ideas of ways that we can help each other when we're going to places for errands, or we are going to, places where this is the celebration. I mean, we even have a Halloween celebration in our community coming up this weekend, and it's going to be bombarded with all kinds of stuff like that. So what could we do um, to make sure that this doesn't call us, especially if you haven't neuroadapted and you're trying to maybe get rid of sugar in your life because you have a goal. You want to lose weight. You want to cure your heart disease. You want to get off medication, whatever it is. Are there some things that we could talk about that we could help each other so that we're more prepared during this time and have fun, right? Dressing up can be fun. Making food that's, not just the carrot, not just, the cucumber, which I have over here. And that's great. It's all great. But make it a little fun, right? So let's see. We have, oh, Jackie says, I love your veggie board. What an adorable idea. Thank you. I felt like I should have done something a little bit more beautiful with the dip part of it, but I'm not the artist in the house. Todd actually went to art school. So anyways, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope it inspires you, right? Maybe you guys will, be pulling out some veggies to make a salad. And like I said, later, I'll show you how I did this. It's not anything that's very hard, and you don't need to be an artist or do anything fancy. So let me read a few other of the okay, Annette, my local health food store is selling dairy, nut, gluten, and plastic-free chocolate in a package that comes with a toy. Wow, okay, but I'm shutting off the lights because chocolate is a trigger. Yes, see? And so you already know that. You already know that. And so good for them for improving, right? Keep going for those people that's an improvement for. And then Karen says, yes, good, Annette. I don't participate unless it's a costume party. Okay, so these are great ideas, right? Because you know what your boundaries are. And if you don't, you should think about it. Putting up boundaries. Where is the pitfall for me personally? Is there one? Maybe there isn't one. And then how can I handle it? So some of the things that I personally have experienced and done is, and I say this a lot, so I hope it's not like, well, whatever. I hope it's okay, but being prepared, man, is that a magic thing for me? Being prepared, having a plan, right? So I knew I was going to be around this, but my plan is I have my green smoothie because that's what I'm doing right now. I have my salads. I know that I can eat most of what's on this board, right? And so that's my plan. So nothing will derail me from that because I have a plan and I execute the plan. Well, how do I do that? I make sure I'm full. I make sure that I am well taken care of mentally, right? So for me, maybe that was going for my morning walk with the dog or yoga or some kind of weightlifting, and eating and drinking water and just making myself feel good, right? Maybe having a good night's sleep. You don't always get a good night's sleep, but all of those things play a part in our moods. And for me, it can make me, look at something that I normally wouldn't eat once in a while. It would make me look at it like I'm going to use this as an example. Oh my goodness, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I haven't had my needs met, whatever. And here I am looking for that comfort, looking for that. But if I have those things met and I'm ready and prepared, I'm going to notice it. And now what I might think is, wow, this is, full of red dye number 40, or this isn't real food. This isn't real food. So let me just see before we go on. Lisa says, luckily, I have very reactive dogs, so I shut off the lights and don't open the door on Halloween, and I don't have to buy anything to give out. Yeah, and people do that, and that's a good plan, because then you don't have it in the house. But I do want to share with you some things that if you ever decided, or if you were celebrating with you were traveling somewhere, I don't know, but I will show you some other things that we've done. And so I just want to finish this area of being prepared, having a plan, right? Knowing your why, knowing your emotional connection to the reason that you're on this path for better health. Because if you really, truly have connected it to your why, if you really, truly know, it will help you. It is strong. And it doesn't come easy. I've spoken a little bit about my why recently, and I won't go into all of that, but that is a really powerful thing that I have found that's very helpful. But it took me a while to get there. It took me a while to find what my why was and even understand what that even meant. I mentioned being full. So if I'm going to go to someone's house, I better be full, and or bring my own food, which I do all the time, even to restaurants. And then another thing that I want to say, my last thing on this topic is, what about looking in the mirror before you enter whatever you're going to enter in this? It's time to answer the door or whatever. It's time to run an errand, and I'm hungry. And you're going to a place that's going to have candy right in your face. Have you thought about, or do you think it would be good? I know I have, to go to the mirror and look at yourself and have a conversation with yourself and make sure that you know how you're going to handle situations. What if somebody I run into offers me X treat that I don't want, or at a work meeting, or wherever that place may be? Having a plan and having a commitment to yourself in the mirror and talking about it out loud is another thing. So that if you practice what you think you might have trouble with, I might have trouble if somebody offers me a bowl of treats at the office, right? So maybe going in the mirror and talking to yourself about, how am I going to make sure that I say no and follow through? I'm going to say, those are beautiful. Thank you so much for thinking about me. I am going to decide, am I going to take it and dump it out later? Am I going to say, I'm so sorry, I'm allergic, I can't do that, I'm doing a protocol, or, whatever the plan is, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable, have that lined up so that you're not scrambling in the moment. So let me look in the chat. What do you guys think about that? Estelle Jacobs, welcome. Yes, eating a very good meal before all the kids come trick-or-treating is really helpful. Yes, I would agree. Jackie says, we have always lived in a very wooded, remote area and have never had trick-or-treaters. I suppose it was too scary. Yeah, we always made up special treats for the children in our lives. Oh, see, and that's nice. Estelle says, make sure there is no candy left for the next day. Right. Oh, and she said, I look adorable. Well, thank you so much. Meow. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I'm allergic to cats, but I thought I'd be one today. So I wanted to share a little bit about my experience with Halloween and what we've done, just to share. So growing up, who remembers not the same one, but a similar looking kind of Halloween pumpkin? I had one that was, a little bit different shaped, and that is what I filled up, and I don't recall it ever being full when I was a little kid. We did dress up in costumes, and I do remember doing that. And then as a preteen, I remember having a friend. I still have this friend, and her birthday is Halloween. And so she always had a sleepover party. So we would all get dressed up. We would go trick-or-treating in the neighborhood together, and we would come back and have another part, which would be the birthday celebration and a slumber party. And that was really fun. But what happened between being a small child and being a teenager or preteen is this wasn't big enough, right? So we went and grabbed the pillowcase. Oh my gosh. We grabbed the pillowcase and we filled the pillowcase. Oh my goodness, because that bucket's not big enough. So that was something that I did. And, when I became a parent and I was a parent of young children, they also, because of me and my lack of knowledge at the time, graduated from small plastic pumpkin to pillowcase. And we also, when the kids were growing up, didn't have a lot of trick-or-treaters in our area. So we would buy candy and nothing would really, we didn't even open it half the time. If I didn't open it, I could even return it if I kept the receipt. And anyways, I'll talk more about that later. But, what they would do then is we would trick or treat. Everybody would get the candy, right? And I would even drive them. I hate to admit it, but I didn't know any better. I would drive them to some other areas not far from where we lived, which had a reputation of not giving out, the nonsense that you see in this bucket here, but full size, like mega bars. And everyone wanted to go to that area, So I did. I took them to that area as well. And then we would go home and they would dump out all their candy and they would separate it and they would count it and they would trade it with each other. And I thought it was great, right? Because they're learning math, they're counting, they're sharing, they're busy. And, I was tired too. So I thought that was great. And then it would last all the way through the next morning. And if it was a weekend, they would continue on that. And then their school said, you can bring extra candy and donate it. And they would send it off to troops or donate it to areas. We lived in California, in Los Angeles, where maybe underprivileged children weren't able or, to trick or treat, right? Sounded like a good cause to me. I didn't think this was what it really is. And so we would donate to the school. And then my kids would have some, and then we'd put it away for the year. And if they went to the movies, if we went to the movie theater, or if they got invited somewhere where, like the movie theater, where, a lot of people go and they buy the popcorn and all the stuff at the concession stand, they would take a piece or two or even three of their saved Halloween candy. And for me, that was great because I saved on money. And it was a way for them to still have a treat, and they didn't eat the whole thing. So that's kind of what I did. And before I get to the next phase, which is when we moved here, I want to just check the chat here. And Lisa says, I remember using a pillowcase too. Yeah. I mean, whoever thought of that, right? Bigger the better. That's what they used to say. And Annette, me too. Nan says, when you know better, you do better. Yes. And, that's part of why I wanted to share the evolution, is because I didn't know any better. And somebody watching right now might not realize that, there's a better way to try. Jackie says, our kids were not used to candy. They would put their haul under their beds. Oh, sneaky, huh? We had to throw most of it out. Yeah. And I had friends that would do that too. But I never did. I thought, well, we'll use it when we, instead of buying at the movie theater, which I never really did because it was always overpriced. But anyways, yeah, good one. Did they know? That's what I'm wondering. Did they figure it out? Did they realize that most of it was all of a sudden missing? And was there anything like that, were they resentful or upset or any emotion? Or were they like, oh, okay, it's fine, I'm over it? I'd be interested to hear. Karen said, it was so much fun in those days. not knowing what we were putting in our bodies. Well, yeah, it was fun. It was fun because we didn't have to question anything. We trusted everyone, and it was the thing, and we all did it together. Uh, but it really, looking back, you know, I wonder if my quality of life would have been better had I known better. But at any rate, I'm here now, and so are you. Colleen says, never even heard of using a pillowcase. Oh my goodness, what did y'all do? Go to every house in your state, right? We walked and walked and walked until people were not, they were out of candy. We went to other areas. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that's what we did. So I'm going to fast forward to when we moved here, and we've been living in the state for 14 years, 13 of those in this particular house. And one of the first years that we moved here, we didn't know anyone, and it was a newer area and nobody really knew anyone. So we went ahead, Todd and I, and we pulled out a table, a folding table, because I was like, I don't want to be inside every 5 seconds. Let's sit outside. And so it's beautiful weather here in Arizona, even at the end of October. And so we put that out. We put out all the decorations. This witch over here has been with me for a long time. She used to light up, but now, she just hangs out. And we would decorate and sit there, and we had our bowl of candy to give out, and we would drink wine. Yes, I don't do that anymore, but there was a time we drink wine, and other neighbors started to come, and it became a thing where all of us would have our bowls of candy. And if we migrated to someone else's house, you brought the bowl, and you made sure that when the kid came over to your table, you'd say, make sure to hit that bowl and that bowl and that bowl. Those are the different houses. And we would have a fire pit going. And it was a really nice way to commune with people and get to know people. I just wish that we were like passing around bell peppers. But that's where we started when we were here. And, my kids grew up, our children grew up, and now we have grandbabies. And so I have been going with them and doing what they like to do when they were little. The oldest one, my oldest grandson, I'm going to tell you about that. His mom, they were not eating anything like this. They were vegan, and it was a vegan pregnancy and so forth. And so when he was really little, she did such an amazing job. She took these little plastic, not quite this big. I'm going to just pull one of these out here. But like these little plastic kind of things here, a smaller one. And she would put like a date in it. And she would decorate it with stickers, and she would put some little stick pretzels in it, or some dried fruit, or even carrot sticks, I think. And she would let him go trick-or-treating a few houses, right? And he was allowed to trick-or-treat here. We bought certain things that was approved by her and her husband. And then she would do the switch witch. Have you ever heard of the switch witch? I'd love to hear if anyone knows what the switch witch is. Well, the switch witch lets you have one, maybe. I can't remember. Did he get one? He may have gotten one treat that was appropriate for it, not a hard candy or when he was little. It had to be vegan, of course. But then you switch. You give mommy all of your candy, and then I dump it in this container, a different one. And then I have a different container with the pretzels and the dates and all the decorations and stickers and fun stuff. And I dump it in here, and you get this one. I got to tell you, even as a little guy, he was like, what? The look. And oh my gosh, she tried so hard. And the second year, she did it again, and then he caught on. And then he was adamant, never let it go, talked about it all year long. And she finally said, I made a mistake. I'm going to let him, the pressure is so intense that even as a little guy, it's really hard. And so He was adamant. We are trick-or-treating and we're hitting all of the houses. I'm getting real candy and we're not switching it. And he was like set for so many months for the whole year. And you know what? The poor kid was sick on Halloween. Oh my gosh. So it's something that he did get to finally do. And it's a sore spot that they had to work through. It's hard to be wanting to do the right thing with all of this out there. Let me see, are there any comments or anything? Has anyone heard of the Switch Witch? Let's see. Oh, the Switch Witch. What an awesome idea. Yeah, as long as you're okay with being hated on once they catch on. But yes, it's the Switch Witch. And I'm just going to read up if there's anything else. Yeah, full-size bars, bags of chips, and cans of soda take a lot of room, says Annette. Yeah, that's why you need a big pillowcase. Full size, yes, and soda, Colleen says. Colleen says, no, I'm feeling deprived as a kid. No, you weren't. You were probably one of the lucky ones. But so, we're going to go with that, group of grandkids, and we just follow. We like to watch them, and it's not our time to parent. And so we just kind of go along with whatever the rules are of the parents, and we try to set the example by what we do, and that's it. But I got to tell you, I had to share that because it got a little hairy. You'd think a little one would forget. There was no forgetting. So some other things that we've done with them are, have you heard of trunk or treat? Trunk or treat? Trunk or treat is when you go to a designated area. Sometimes it's like a parking lot where there's a strip mall or a strip of stores and they're closed and they get permission, or maybe some of the stores stay open and everybody parks their cars, the car backwards. Well, no, not backwards, so that you can walk around in the parking lot and everyone's sitting. Either if it's a truck, they have the bed open, or if not, if you have a car, you put some chairs out and people go and take the family and they trick or treat in this little parking lot. Trunk or treat is what they call it. And so we gave the kids stuff that didn't have, it had sugar. It was still candy. I got approval from the parents, my children, their parents ahead of time, but we honored what they said. No dyes, right? Nothing that's not real. And so, so we would do that. We would offer all kinds of things that I can show right now. I just want to see if there's anything. Okay, so some of the things that we've offered them, well, I'll say, this is still candy, right? Barbie Smart Sweets, tropical sours, right? But for what it's worth, it doesn't have any dyes. It doesn't have anything crazy in it. It's got hickory root fiber, modified potato starch. I mean, it's not great, but it's got rice flour, spirulina extract for color. It's got coconut oil. It's better, I think, than this, but it still would be great not to have that. And then going with the chocolate, this particular one is, and that was not a complete ingredient list. I just was pulling out some things. Organic dark chocolate, organic sugar, organic peanut butter, organic cane sugar, organic peanut flour, palm oil, which is awful in my opinion, sea salt, but at least you can pronounce it. And if it's like, well, that's what we do. And then of course they like lollipops, right? So what's the difference between an organic pop and say a Tootsie Pop, or what else do we have in here? Oh, a Tootsie Pop. Dum Dums, remember those? Dummy is what it should have been called. Like, I felt like that. Let's see, what are these? Blow Pops with gum. And so they're still candy, they're still sugar, but they don't have the colors, and they're gluten-free and vegan and whatever. But I really like doing, and I'm going to move my beautiful salad aside for a moment showing you some things that aren't candy and that aren't, gonna, I hope, have somebody throw, be upset with you for giving them a toothbrush or something. I don't have them with me right now, but I'm just going to show you bigger balls like this for little ones. Or what we really like are the little bouncy balls, and you can get them glow in the dark Halloween. And you know what? Getting a lot of this stuff, if you are going to be buying in bulk for a neighborhood, it's cheaper, I'm finding, than a bag of this candy at Costco. Who knew? So, things like that. And these are some of the things from the past. These are little boxes. They're stickers. They're Halloween stickers. And they come with a lot of different, not just one sheet, but there's like little squares of Halloween stickers that you could, let's see. I'll open this one. Meow, it's a kitty. Okay, so here. So that one comes with 8. Let's see, is it 8? Yeah, 8 stickers, So it's nothing crazy, but it's something that might be fun for someone. So we have balls, we have stickers. We sometimes do these fancy plastic spider rings, which are really scary and fun. This is some kind of I don't know, it's a paper clip with a little character on the top. And we have also given these. Have you guys seen these? This is called That's It. This one is apples and blueberries. It's a mini fruit bar. It's great, I think. It's not candy, so I would give it with something. I would give it like with the spider ring, or, let them pick. And then before we knew about that, we used to give out these, which are fruit leathers. And this is literally, let's read the ingredients: apple puree concentrate, pear puree concentrate, apricot puree concentrate, lemon juice concentrate. End of story. So for what it's worth, that's what we would do. Now, this is no longer working, right? Because it's already been used, but these are those glow-in-the-dark bracelets. Oh my gosh, we buy these for the babies, and I call the older ones babies because they're still babies to me, and to give out to the neighborhood. And I actually have an order coming today, and I was going to show you. So for like 100 of them, 9 colors, right? It's like under $10, $9. $13.99 is what I saw a bag of candy at Costco. And I think that was supposed to be like discounted for sale. I think it was $15.99 but anyways, other things that we do is you can order on Amazon. You can order on Oriental Trade. Do you guys remember Oriental Trade? And you can get bracelets. These are just pretty plain, but you can get glow in the dark ones. And you can buy enough of them to last you like a couple of years. And I know some of you are saying you're in rural areas and this doesn't apply, which is great. You can find individual things if you have a special someone in your family that you're going to see for a couple dollars, and you can get little, like some of these things. I saw some of these. I wish I knew the name of it. It looks like this little fuzzy colored thing on a string, and you just kind of move it, just little like tchotchke things. And then another thing that I really like is taking these bags, right, and putting some beads in them. Of course, you want it to be appropriate for the age. I've got some beads right here. Let me just see. So, here's an example, right, of a bracelet. And you can, I don't know if you can see that. Let me just grab a handful. And you can take some beads. You can get inexpensive beads. You don't have to get anything fancy. And you can take some ribbon, or some that stretchy ribbon we're out of right now. And you can just cut a little piece, plop, roll it up, put it in here. And now they have a craft when they go home. And you don't have to get plain beads. You can get skull heads and spiders and pumpkins. And so that's sometimes fun. Here's one that was made, I think, last year. We just got these colored beads. I don't know if this was done for Halloween or not, but it is something. And this was one, so you can do these kinds of giveaways. And then, of course, I know a lot of people, you can buy these in big bulk, and you can give away a necklace, right? And not one thing, I would give a couple things. You can even get these bags, these little plastic bags, and put maybe 2 things, 3 things in here and have a bunch of these. My neighbor does that a lot. And so those are some of the ideas of things that I think we can do. Here, you can get a little crazy and do, you can even make some bracelets. Although I think it's more fun if the kids make the bracelets. And, just maybe having a bunch of these bags with different colors and just letting them pick is kind of fun, and it's different and it doesn't harm the body, right? So let me take a minute and see if there's any comments. Let's see. Nan says Naked Food Magazine has a whole is that Whole Queen cookbook? Oh, Halloween cookbook. That's fun for those who want to make treats. Yes, the thing that I find with making treats and giving them to people outside of your friends and family is that they're not well received, because I still hear people talking about, like, I know when I was a kid, there were times when people would do crazy things like, put staples in an apple or in their candy, and just so I do notice that people get a little leery still about that. I've seen that, but if you know them, yes, then definitely. I love that. Colleen says, I've heard of it, but not in my day. Only came about when razor blades, yes, were found in the candy or apple. Exactly what I was talking about. People would bring their candy to the hospital, yep, to have it x-rayed and make sure it was safe to eat. And we were one of those. Crazy. I think there was also a way to do it through the schools, but I don't know how, because I was little when that was happening. We still talked about it. And so, hello, Raising Russell, cute set. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome. And so anyways, let's see. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to talk about is another thing. So I've progressed, right? I've evolved. We all do. But when we were first living here and I stopped doing the wine table and all of that, and I was still wanting something, I would get myself a clean treat, maybe a clean treat of some sort that I thought it was clean at the time. I don't believe it is now. And I would have a plan even then, right? I would eat my salad or whatever I was eating, my baked potato, whatever. We ate pizza a lot back then on Halloween. And so I would try to make like a good, healthy pizza, or we'd go to this place that I thought was healthy pizza. Anyways, I would tell myself, by the end of the night, you can have your treat. And that, knowing I was going to have it, I was just waiting, would usually keep me from eating this. And then when I just felt like it was time, I would go in my house and I would go where I had it and I would eat it. And that was my treat, right? I don't need to do that. Or if I do, I make different treats that are even cleaner, like cacao powder or carob powder with banana mashed up and frozen. Right? So those are all the things that I thought that I would share with you about my experience. I'd love to hear if anybody else has anything going on. Hi, Apple a Day. So glad you're here. No, you're doing great. We're just talking a little bit more. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we can do here. I wanted to, so let me move this, and I want to move this to, well, maybe I would like to show you something else that I make. Now, I have a little thing back here. I was going to show you how to make dates, caramel out of dates, and show you that's something that I like to give to my kids or my grandkids. And then we cut up apples and dip it. I don't know if anybody has seen that, but I thought it's a pretty easy thing to do, and I would show it to you. And then if there's time, I can show you how I cut up some of these things and answer any more questions. So I'm going to use the NutriBullet for this. And what I like about this is that it's simple. It's not going to take all day. So what I did was I took some dates. I made sure that most of them were pitted. These I didn't pit, so I'm going to do it right now with you. And this is the pit. You do not want the pit in your date caramel. And the reason why I like doing this is because growing up, I always loved a caramel apple. Like, right, that was such a treat. And this way, it doesn't stick the same way. So we used to dip, or we still can dip in there. And so so I have it sitting in some water because they weren't super soft. You want to take your dates and let them sit in some warm water or just any water to soften them up so that you can put it in your NutriBullet or whatever you want, and then make sure that that it will grind up, because you want it to be a nice creamy texture. So the first thing we're going to do is take our container and we're going to dump in all of our dates that have no pits in them. And let's see, Todd, is anybody saying anything about this?
Yeah, so Apple a Day has asked, have you ever made date-sweetened hummus? She claims it tastes like cookie dough and is yummy with apple and pear slices.
No, I have not, and I would love to hear more about that. What I recently saw in the store was hummus that was pumpkin flavored, but not date. That's great. No, I would love to hear more details about that. Thank you. And so I'm just going to keep moving on. And so we have the dates, and I'm using vanilla bean powder. You don't want to have vanilla. You don't have vanilla bean powder, or you don't want the flavor, whatever, you can skip it. This will still come out great. It's just that we like vanilla flavor around here. And then I have some almond milk. You can use any plant milk. And I'm going to start by putting in, well, this is 3/4 of a cup. I thought it was a cup. I'm going to put in some of it because I don't want it to get too liquidy. And then I'm going to grind it up and see if we need any more. And just so you know, the vanilla bean powder that I used was I think it was 1/4 teaspoon. You can bump it up if you like a really strong flavor, but you don't have to. And then the dates, we had about 18 to 20 dates, small dates. So I am going to plug this in, and I'll see if I can get my ears on, my other ears, my kitty ears, but I'm trying to protect my hearing these days. And let me see if I could do this. And there we go. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that wasn't much of a dance party, but I think we need more liquid. So let's pour in a little more liquid. See, here's what it's looking like so far. So it's getting there, but if there's more liquid, I think, well, I'll leave 1/4 out, and let's see if we can. I'm getting this all over my hands. Yummy. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Come on, guys. Okay, ready? Yeah. Are they muted? Oh my goodness. Hopefully you're muted and you didn't have to hear that. The music that I was dancing to was something that I was making up in my head. Yes, it was the Monster Mash. So let's see. Oh, I got to really use. Oh, there we go. That was really tight on there. So here we go. Now I could go a little more, but I think it looks pretty good. And for time's sake, I'm going to stop. And I'm just going to put some out here and show you what we've got going on. And this is something, look at this. Look at that. See? It's like caramel. And it's nature's candy, right? Dates are nature's candy. So I am not going to waste this. I know I like to clean it all, and I will after this, but I just want to show this is the finished product, and it looks pretty darn good, I think. And so then what I go ahead and do is I have some apples here, and I can serve this on a platter. I'll put it right here for a moment. And then you can take any color apples. I've got green, Granny's. I've got some, what are these? envy apples. And I just like using this guy just because it's simple. But you can use, we have these big fancy other ones, core peeler slicer thing. But, you know, if I was going to do a lot of them, but then I just get clean apples and meow. I had to. Okay. And so then here we go. So you can do the green one too. Let's do the green one too. And we can make it a little colorful because I really love colors in food. It's really delicious to have that. And this one looks like, this apple looks like it's not so happy. So, well, yeah, we got a bad apple, it looks like, but you get the idea. And so let's go ahead and I can try that other green one. And, you know, here we go. So the kids would come over and I would, you know, in some kind of design, put this together while we're carving pumpkins, or, you know, even on Halloween, they come over sometimes and they want to get their costumes on. Then they can have something like this to eat. And there you go. And I can put the green ones on this side, or I could do every other one, have a red, a green, a red, a green, and do it all the way around. And, you know, like even you can go this way, even though those didn't come out so great, I can still show for a sample. And there you go. So, Todd, would you taste this for everyone? You want to come over? Okay, here he is.
I'll just,
yeah.
for the taste test. I
for the taste
sacrifice
test.
myself for the camera.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
What do you think?
Very good.
Tastes like caramel? So if you have done this before, maybe it's a reminder. You could do it again. If you haven't, it's super simple, right? We just showed you. And if you want, you could put a little bit of lemon juice on the apples to keep it from oxidizing if it's going to be sitting out for a little bit. And then the last thing I would say, let's see. Oh, okay, Annette, thank you. The last thing that I would say is if you want, I can just show you how I made a couple of these things. And then I just, I guess I'll do that. So with the cucumber, I have this long English cucumber, but I also got some of these. These are little mini cucumbers. They come in a bag. And so what I like to do with these, let me move the pillowcase out of the way. And so what I like to do is grab this guy right here. This is a mandolin, isn't it? And I always wear these gloves because you don't want to cut yourself on these. And this particular one is adjustable. If you don't have one of these, that's okay. The only reason I like it is because it helps keep things uniform in terms of slices and slicing size. And then you can just adjust it. And then what I do is I take this cap and I put it on here. And then I just kind of put pressure on this red dot as I go. And I just make the slices. Okay, and there we go. So these are, you can already see, going to be the cucumber ghosts. The reason I think I like the mini ones versus the big one is because they're more narrow, more like the shape of a ghost. When I did these were the ones that I had to cut the skin off, the peel off, because they were kind of hefty, wide, and they didn't really look like ghosts. So that's that one. And then the other one is a carrot. And so with the carrots, all I did was, let's see, I'm just going to cut that little end off because that's not looking good. So this is a gigantic carrot. And so I'm going to cut it into, like I would do it in thirds, right? So this is one of the thirds. I'm going to make a ghost out of this. But on this part, I'm going to cut circles. And those can be the little pumpkins, just so I can show you quickly. Okay, so that's that. So with this one, the ghost, I'm just going to want to attach it just like I did with the cucumber. And I'm just going to want to do exactly the same thing. That I want to go this way. And just keep going. I really think I should have put it on that way. There we go. That's better. That'll probably work better too. And so I won't do the whole thing just for time. But here we go. So we've got the carrots and we've got the cucumber. And I'm going to take these off. And then I'll show you how I made those. And so I hope you can see. Let's see. I'll just do this. Okay. So what I did was the carrots, see how they're not very ghost looking. So I want to take a knife, a paring knife or a big knife, whatever you have, and I just kind of want to round the top, just a little bit, round it, free forming. I'm just doing whatever. There's no rule. And then what are you going to do with all these leftover pieces? You got it. I'm going to stick it in my salad, wherever my salad bowl went, and I'll eat it. And so there you can see it looks more like a ghost. On the very bottom, I'm going to make 2 triangles and take the triangles out. Oh, thank you. See? And that's what this is. This is the crumbs of the ghost. And so I just wanted to show that. Can I hand that back to you, please? Okay, thank you. And so then I just do these little triangles, remove, here, let's see. Can you see that? And so all it needs now is a face. So what I found was with the carrot, depending on the thickness, you could either make like a little X for the eyes and the nose with a knife, and then go and take a chopstick. I have 2 different sizes at the end here. One is much thinner than the other. And I would just kind of, pop into them and just make a little hole. Now, if you find that that's not working, because on a couple of them, they were a little too thick and they weren't working, well, then what I did was I just took the knife that I had made, that X, and I just started twisting it around, twist, twist, twist. And then it created the hole that I was looking for. But these seem to be working out a little better. And there you go. Is this working out better? Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. So I don't know if you could see him, but I'm going to stick him right there. And then I'm going to show you the same thing with a cucumber. I didn't need to use the knife with the cucumber. I could just take the chopstick and I could just literally push in the holes and go all the way through. And then, of course, I would also cut the triangles at the bottom and then take all these little extra pieces and add them into my salad. And there you go. There's the ghost, the cucumber ghost, and I'll sit him right here. And that's really how I did it. And then with the bell pepper, I basically kind of went around this, and it was not the easiest thing, but I just kind of took it out. You could go wider. This is a wide mouth. This is a thinner mouth. Mouth, the part that I took out. And then I was just kind of doing my best to scrape it with the spoon and get all of the seeds in there. And then I took a triangle and I literally made triangle for the 2 eyes, right here. And then I cut out a smiley, and then I stuffed the top with celery. And there you go. So the other last thing is for these, the crinkle look, the crinkle shape for dipping, I just use this crinkle cutter that I have from Pampered Chef. And I bet when you change eating your food, you may have had things that you used to use for something else, and now you don't use it anymore, right? Like an egg slicer possibly, or a cheese slicer, and even something like this, right? And so looking at it and repurposing it, finding new ways to use it, it's fun. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope that it's helpful for you wherever you are in your journey, and that you can realize that this is, in my opinion, again, a practice for what's to come, right? The other holidays, and with the community, and with a plan, and just having people to talk to. You can do it. I can do it. We can do it together and be successful in the road that we want to be, and not be influenced by any large corporation or sciencey food. Woo! So don't forget to eat your greens like I started eating mine at the beginning, and give plants a chance. And of course, if you'd like to reach out, please go to my website, thejenniferdiamond.com, and I'd be happy to connect with you. And so thank you so much, everyone. I hope I answered anyone else's comments or questions. I'm just checking. And yes, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next time. Happy Halloween. Meow. Bye-bye.